there are certain impacts that we can count on happening. We know it will be warmer. We know that the storms will be more intense. We know that that's going to exacerbate flooding. So we can look at those particular things and see what impacts those might have on our water resources and what we can do about it. OARS is a watershed organization that's devoted to restoring the health of the Assabet, Sudbury and Concord Rivers in central Massachusetts. And we held a forum for residents of our communities and discussed the impacts of climate change on our watershed and our water resources. Part of that forum was to play a game. So we listened first to the presentations of several experts dealing with impacts of climate disruption, and then we had a game to discuss how we could use what we just learned to find solutions that we could do in our watershed.
So much of the future climate depends more on where our emissions are going to be. And that's a social, political, economic question.
So the number one cause of summertime drawdown on our streams is wastewater treatment plants.
Well, as it turns out, the data that we are all using in the state of Massachusetts currently with WAGERS is based upon a database that goes from roughly 1930 to 1960. Many others, precipitation not only is going to change, but it already has changed.
Anybody have a flood this year?
We did.
Okay, we've got a flood. And have you invested?
No, we stopped.
Yep. So unfortunately, you've only got one beam, which you will pay, but it's not enough. So your community has a serious water crisis this year. What measures are you choosing? All new buildings in the floodplain have to be elevated. Excellent. The change in probabilities is indicating to your community also that you better think a little bit more about flood this year.
Yep.
What measures are you going to implement?
We're going to restore some riparian wetlands to allow for greater flood storage capacity.
Okay, great. We've got some wetland restoration. So, flood risk managers, drought risk managers, advisors advise. Stand up when you've made your decisions. If you want to invest, if you can invest. What measures do you think you need this year? So you're looking at maybe neighborhood scale, wastewater treatment. Okay.
So we're going to buy up all of the riparian areas.
Wow. You've got low property values, don't you? Rain gardens encouraging public and residential recharge. Let's find out who our winners and our losers are. Any communities retain any of their budget? Okay. This community invested in drought risk, but they rolled a 10. They had a flood this year. So this is an opportunity to think about our natural infrastructure as a concrete investment, whether it's in restoration protection, we're creating new jobs here, but we are making investments in longer-term resilience. These are measures that are not going to fluctuate. They're going to give you a higher buffer against the extremes in perpetuity. Great. Wetland protection, drought-tolerant landscaping.
Yeah, and we're going to go for better information management. So GIS, water use management. We want to computerize it all, be better managed.
To increase public participation in decision-making that has to do with ecosystem and watershed management. So I'm sharing with you copies of this Pardee Center Task Force report on games for a new climate that will give you some case studies from around the world, and I hope you enjoy it. Can we have a hand for good water?
The best way to get started is to give our office a call, or go to our website. You can learn a lot about the issues there, and you can see ways that we're getting involved right now in making a difference.